What's up? What is going on?
Welcome to the party. With his eight. I love
I remember why I don't drink anymore.
it.
Dude, how are you feeling?
I'm okay now, but
Yeah.
it,
Okay.
it was a really rough about 28 hours. I'm starting to do the end of this, and yeah. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told this before. I might be a little bit of a trash talker, and it's amplified times 100 when I told the Bengals fans you'll never win a Super Bowl ever.
I mean, that's
You just out there letting them have it, huh?
I don't care if I picked him. I'm wrong.
yeah. TPS reports. We're live. We're here. We're recording. I guess we're not live. We're recording. As always, though, I'm Justin.
This is Brandon.
That's Pat Dixon. What's up, guys?
What is going on? How's everybody feeling?
I'm feeling great because we got an awesome tournament that we're going to talk about. Me and Pat were both there. Brandon, sadly, you missed out. What an awesome tournament. We were at Brass Tap and Billiards up in Raleigh, North Carolina, Hurricane Country, as we like to call it. And Pat's first visit to Brass Tap. So right away, I'm just going to go ahead and ask, Pat, did you like the place? Are you excited to go back?
Love the place. Can't wait to go back. As soon as you walk in, it just feels like a pool hall. Feels like a pool hall that you want to be in. And then you get up to the bar and see all the cool pictures of all like the people that have come through there, champions. It's an incredible place.
Speaking of champions, we had a few in our tournament that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Brandon, you've been to Brass Tap before.
No,
Really?
I've never been to Brass Tap, and watching the multiple videos I've seen from not just your tournament, but a bunch of different things that have gone on there, I can't wait to get there one day.
Well,
Looking forward to it.
We're going to be back there multiple times next year. It's an awesome pool. I think I might be a little biased, but I think it's the second best pool in North Carolina. Smoke and Q being the first. So I think Brass Tap is amazing. They have a lot of tables. What do they have? 18 tables, Pat, I believe. Is that right?
It's like 18 tables. Mm-hmm.
Okay, they had 18 tables because we had everybody playing in that first round, and we still had 2 tables open. So that would be 18. A lot of diamonds, a lot of Brunswicks. Pat enjoyed the food. Right?
Couldn't stop ordering stuff.
I got a full tutorial about the food. It was excellent.
So my favorite part of the show every time. But yeah, so September 14th, we took a visit to Brass Tap for $1,000 added, 9-ball open. Our normal format, races to 3, best 2 out of 3 sets, 32 players. Our largest payout for a 32-player field that we have had yet, $4,880. $4,880. That's a huge payout. Very huge payout. The auction was very well ran. Pat actually ended up buying somebody. I kind of convinced him, but did finish, I think, 2 spots away from making money on that one, Pat. So I was close.
Right there.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk. Let's go.
IHOP money back.
Yes, IHOP was that was the only bad part of the day. I'm not gonna lie. Let me go ahead and mention our sponsors here really quick before we talk about the awesome field that we had from top to bottom. This field was stacked, but thanks to our sponsors who definitely helped us out. Definitely could not have done this tournament without them. Deadstroke Media, obviously that's you, Pat. As always, doing a wonderful job. Inkwell Design, JC Riggs, making the awesome trophy once again. John Patera, Remax Metro Realty, didn't come and play this time. We missed them, but thanks for sponsoring us. Paul Harrison Custom Cues, Portico Licensed General Contractors, Pool Doctors, and Premier Imports of Charlotte. Appreciate you guys for sponsoring. And let's go ahead and get into this field. Brandon, you weren't there, but you saw the players list. Right away, what do you just describe the players list?
Remember what I told you before I was going to start this, that there will be no college football watch this day.
Yeah.
Because I knew where my eyes would be in this pool series because of what we had going on. This is, in my opinion, the best top 10 field in a 32 event you've had. I mean, I have numerous killers in this tournament. and you started off the day perfect. Like you couldn't start off with a better match if you tried. With the talent in there, I was just in amazement all day. I look forward to watching. When I wasn't working, I was watching. Loved every minute.
Yeah, we had so over half the field, 18 of the 32 players had a Fargo above 600, which I do believe is a record for our 32-man fields. Pat, you were there as you saw these guys walk in. Obviously, you didn't know many of them, but I feel like you were told kind of how a lot of them played maybe before the tournament started. I mean, just what were you thinking going into this, not really knowing some of these guys, but kind of hearing about them?
Knew I'd crack the money. And then, yeah, right. I knew I was going to be commentating the entire tournament. That's what I knew. No, strongest field we've had easily so far outside of the 30th anniversary. Top to bottom, killers everywhere. But yeah, like you said, I didn't know too many people, but it's one of my favorite things about going to these new places, these different places around the states, being able to see these new guys, at least, new to me, learn from them, and see firsthand why they're so great. Miss Roberts. Excuse me.
Yeah, there was I liked it because, there was 20 plus players that hadn't played in a pool series event yet. And even then there was players I hadn't even seen play outside of, I haven't seen a lot of these guys in a long time period, and I travel around to some of these tournaments. I go up there some here and there. So to see some of these guys come out and play was really awesome. And boy, we paid out the top 8 spots, and this is a killer top 8. I'm going to go from top to bottom this time just because I'm ready to go ahead and talk about the people at the top. I don't want to wait any longer.
Love it.
And I'm just going to go ahead and read out the top 8 before we even dive into it. The winner of this tournament, Gregorio Sanchez, better known as Guama, pulls out the W, pulls out the win, his first pool series event. Second place, BJ Ussery, another huge name in the area. Third place, a Raleigh local hero, Corey Sykes. Fourth place, another Raleigh hero, another Raleigh superstar, Joshua Padron. Fifth and sixth, 2 names that we have seen before, one from the Charlotte area, Ronald Bott and Scott Roberts. And seventh, eighth was a guy that we see at every tournament, Eddie Little, and a guy that the first time we had seen, Jason Rogers. Out of those top 8 guys, the lowest Fargo is 651. Just saying. That's pretty strong. So let's go ahead and jump right in though to the winner, Guama Gregorio Sanchez. He was the guy that I said would probably win the tournament before we even started. I think the guy is super underrated. I think he is possibly the best player in North Carolina. Pat, it might have been the first time you've seen him play, but just tell us, what did you think about watching him all day? He was on the stream a few times, so you got front row a lot. What did you think about him?
Guama is a head face. No, that was Spanish. You guys didn't get that. It's fine. He'll listen. He watches this. No, he was playing Josh Roberts that first match, and I thought they were going to go back and forth, but it was surprisingly very one-sided. He was playing exceptionally well. I think there might have been just a couple moments throughout the day where maybe he struggled for just a little bit. But the skill that dude has, I think you hit the nail on the head. He is severely underrated. He is not a 720 Fargo. He's at least 765, 780, somewhere like, that semi-pro level for sure. I mean, even BJ,
that's pro level. That's pro level. Pro level at 760, 780 where he is.
That's your job.
He did just get what, 3rd place at Battle of the Bull this weekend also. So yeah.
Well, that goes back to your point.
Double dip Scott Woodward in that tournament, by the way.
Double dip BJ Usser. He's double dipping professionals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless of the format of the tournament, whatever they want to say about themselves, how they maybe have been playing 60, 70%, however long, he's double dipping pro players right now, which is insane. Because I think up until now, in my brain, it was BJ Ussery and Jesus Atencio 1 and 2 in North Carolina, even with Jesus' somewhat of a hiatus. That has been taken off of the man. It's Guama, BJ Ussery.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. He plays very well.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch. And we'll talk about that first match here a little bit later because that was a great way to start the tournament. But Brandon, what's your thoughts on Guama? Because have you seen Guama play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember I'm a YouTube pool junkie.
Well, jump on YouTube later this week to watch his matches from our tournament, as they will be up on.
I watched
starting
them
Thursday,
firsthand. I watched 80% of them firsthand until the very end. I couldn't make it; it was too late. But this is exactly why I always tell everybody I don't fully trust Fargo. It gives you a good baseline at best. Okay, give you an idea of what you think you might be dealing with. But there are players with 20 to 30 points higher than him that want weight. This ought to tell you something right here. And now we got to see why. I had seen him play some big names online watching him. I knew he'd get in a spot. He didn't win, but he was still playing incredible. And to see him come in and do what he did, I mean, a little surprised because I still didn't know that much about him until we got halfway through the day and I realized, okay, this guy is actually the best player in the tournament. You know, you got one guy with a Fargo that's top 10 in the U.S. who's not on that money list, by the way.
Yeah.
That ought to really attest to the strength of this tournament. But to watch Guama in person, or not in person, but watch Guama on the stream and the names that he was beating and the way he was playing. Yeah, this guy this guy has the ability to win majors. I am completely serious. Maybe not immediately, maybe down the road, but this guy has the ability to win majors.
What's
I'm
crazy?
serious.
So what's crazy about his day is after winning that first round against Josh Roberts, his next two matches combined, he wins in less than an hour. I'm just saying, like to me, that's pretty impressive. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty impressive.
I mean, you just didn't miss when it was your turn to shoot. You played a perfect ball.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the second place finisher, a guy that we have seen before. He actually, last time we saw him at the pool series, he was holding the trophy of the 30th anniversary. That's BJ Usry with a second place finish. Only person he lost to all day was Guama. Loses to him twice. I mean, BJ played really well. I think he came in very determined. I think he, honestly, to me, he really played super well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there was one match I saw where he played bad. But, I mean, Brandon, what did you think about BJ's tournament?
I think BJ got a little more tested than everybody in there would realize. I mean, James Blackburn did the kitchen sink at him. Corey played him as tough as he could.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, the Guama was a bad matchup for him that day.
No, BJ... you talk about BJ had the toughest draw for sure. He played Javier Oliu the first round. You know, no pushover.
No, not at all.
I mean, he's cashed
capable.
He's cashed the last two events before that on the pool series. Then he plays Reyes Gomez.
A very underrated Fargo. Very.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Okay.
Then James Blackburn, then Corey Sykes, then Guama. I mean, that's one of the toughest routes to the finals that we have seen. But yeah, Brandon, just continue on about what you thought.
I mean, I pretty much, it was great watching him actually play hard because I knew he had to play hard. You know, he did make a couple of mistakes in the Blackburn match, but he ended up, finding a way to pull it out. He's typical BJ, always getting down in the, first, second, or third in pretty much any tournament we're going to have.
Oh, yeah.
But after watching how Guama was playing, I'm not shocked he got second. But all around, hand clapper BJ played well.
Absolutely. Pat, what did you think about BJ?
Great for the most part. I think he played well, but he didn't play. I think his own comment kind of summed it up. I saw a post today on Facebook where they were talking about the rankings, right, for the Moscone Cup. And then in that post, I think it was the Windows Open guy. I don't know if y'all follow that one on Facebook, but he was basically saying hey, such and such has third, Sky's the Moscone Cup captain, so he's automatically got this spot, so that wild card spot's still open. This person's in there strong. Don't give up, BJ. He commented under that. He said, hey, man. He said, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be in it. I didn't go to Vietnam on purpose because I've been playing about 50 to 70% of my capacity for the past couple of months, like just trying to work some things out in shorter words. And for me, that's kind of what I saw here. And that still says a lot because the guy got second place and lost to the champion twice. You know what I mean? But there was moments in the Guama matches as well as the Blackburn matches where Gregorio, yeah, that's why I got to stick with Guama. I was doing that all. Gregorio. There was a lot of moments in the Guama match and some moments in the Blackburn match where you just really saw that BJ wasn't the BJ that you would think he would be, that tournament winning, professional level, Moscone level player. Whereas Guama kind of was, I feel like Guama was playing with a lot of confidence, really nothing to lose in those matches. But BJ, it's still like, I feel like he's working through some things right now in his game. Like, I don't know if this is what a rut looks like for him. You know what I mean? But it's not all the way there.
Yeah, I definitely
He
don't
still
think.
got two.
Yeah, I don't think this was the top of his game either.
May I throw one in there? I don't think he's been the same since he went to the carbon. I think he's been playing with wood his whole life, and he doesn't have his wood now because of something that happened with the airlines. I don't know the whole story, but I know that he had to end up getting a cue to play with in the U.S. Open, and it was carbon. So, I mean, BJ's such a good player that he's still going to make simple shots look easy. But when it gets down to the really touchy shots, if you're not very familiar with carbon, it can be a big difference. And when you always play with wood, they'll never play similar. I don't care what anybody says, ever. So, I mean, I
Exactly
think
right.
that may have a little bit to do with it. That'd be a question for him directly, but um, I also know he's a good enough and determined enough player to figure it out. So, but
He did mention that. He mentioned losing, the airline lost his cues. He tried to ask some other opponents there from the U.S. if he could borrow one because he had nothing. They all told him no. And so he had to go buy like a new Q-Tech because Q-Tech was the only one that was there. And then that's what he was playing with that day. Yeah, they were the sponsor. So that's what he was playing with that day. So to your point, I think that may have had a lot to do with it as well, because I remember specifically he was overrunning a lot of defensive shots. A lot of defense was rolling out on him. And to your point, carbon fiber is going to have a lot more, a lot less deflection. You can do a lot more with a lot less. So maybe what he's used to putting on it with the wood shaft, he was doing too much with the carbon. And so now it's rolling out. Anyway, I think
more
to your point,
force with
it had a lot
carbon.
to do with it.
Like you automatically
Huh?
force through the ball more with carbon. So
Right.
he's not going to be able to control it. Eventually, he will if he keeps playing with it because he'll learn it and he'll adjust his game to it. But
the carbon fiber, it gives you more power.
yes,
It's kind of like the hoverboard that they had in Back to the Future Part 2. You know how Biff's son had the more powerful one. It's the carbon fiber is that of the pool
we
cues.
could equate it to your favorite sport. Carbon fiber is like an aluminum bat, and wood's like a wood bat.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like that better. That probably makes a lot better than my Back to the Future 2 reference. Sorry.
Yours meant more. So.
All right, let's move on here to the third place finisher, a guy who has not played in one of our events before. Possibly the best player in Raleigh, maybe the second best player in Raleigh. Corey Sykes finished in third place. Super fun to watch him throughout the day. He also joined for the commentary a little bit, did a wonderful job. And, I think at some point somebody said I might have been the number one person in his fan club. And I'm totally fine with being that because Corey Sykes is a great player, a great dude. And I honestly was kind of hoping that he would win the tournament just so a local, although Guama is local to Raleigh as well, but Corey's lived there for a decade plus. So it would have been cool to see him snap it off. But a third place finish, I know he was happy with that. And it was super fun to watch him play. I don't think he ever played his best. I never saw him play his best. But Pat, what do you think about Corey Sykes? I know it was your first time seeing him play.
100%. First time seeing him, meeting him, great guy, super good pool player. I mean, you talk about a tough route. I think the lowest Fargo that he had to play was like a 646. If we're going off, these folks rated. I don't count Tim Speeds because that's not a real far. 2. Come on.
Yeah.
And he only loses to BJ Usry he loses to BJ twice, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, lost to BJ twice. I mean, he beats Josh Padron, beats Scott Roberts. Dude has a super, super strong game. But for him to get third place and then not playing to his true potential, I can't wait to see him play again. Cannot wait.
I'm honestly not even sure if that was his B game. Like that could have almost been his C game that we saw. I feel like I never really saw him hit that gear that I know he's capable of. He's a 700 plus Fargo, as a few players were in this tournament. But Brayden, what do you think about Corey Sykes? I'm pretty sure you know Corey.
I've seen him once. I've never met him. He's a great commentator.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime that guy, if you ever go up, next time you go up there and he wants to get on the mic, you let him.
Oh, yeah.
Guy knows the game. He's good to listen to. He obviously sounds like a good guy. He's a great player. I've seen him online a number of times.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll watch local tournaments if they're streamed. So I've definitely seen him. Like I said, I've seen him in person once. But no, he's a super strong player. Not shocked at all he got third. He had to go through a hard field to get it, and he lost to a very formidable opponent. So it was a good tournament for Corey.
Yeah, then we talked about Wama getting third, fourth in the Battle of the Bull this past weekend. Also, Corey won the U.S. Amateur qualifier, so he'll be going back to the Nationals for that. So
the one that you had to, if he got fifth again, then he would have to go play again.
Yeah,
he broke through.
No. He's gotten fifth in the Nationals twice.
Oh, fifth in the but he's won the qualifier.
Yeah, he's won the qualifier.
Oh, I would expect that.
Yeah. So his his dream of finishing fifth for a third straight year is still possible. There you go. The fourth place finisher in the brass tap tournament was a guy that we have seen before.
Yes.
Another great guy, a guy that really kind of helped us get into brass tap, and a guy who's helping us get into another place in the area. Joshua Padron with the fourth place finish. I think he had some tough matches. I also don't feel like he played his best throughout the day, but he battled through. He lost his first round, and to come all the way back and finish fourth place. Wow. First of all, wow. He was probably worn out. Secondly, his Fargo is 6.66. Probably need to work on that, sir. But Brandon, I know you've seen Josh before, obviously, because he's been down here before. But I mean, just watching throughout the day, he really wasn't on the stream, but I think one time maybe.
So he was on there, remember?
Yeah. So what did you think about Josh's tournament?
I think Josh had a great tournament. I think he's a great player. He's actually keeps improving.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I saw him in the 30th anniversary tournament. He was really good and he went far in it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like, with the exception of his first match, that he really got stronger throughout the day. And he had an incredible match with Renal. I mean, incredible. I mean, he just, to lose your first match, a lot of people pick up their ball and go home.
Yeah.
And that field of killers to come through and get fourth, Josh, other than having the best beard in North Carolina, you brought a great game with you that day too.
He definitely, if he packed up and took his ball and went home after that first round, he wouldn't have had far to go, because I think he lives a couple minutes away from brass tap. So
I will say this: if I'm a 6.66 Fargo, I'm gonna purposely lose my next set 7-0.
Yeah,
just make sure I tank it.
Yeah, it's not something that you really want to be. But Pat, what did you think about Josh? I mean, you've met him before. This is probably your second time seeing him. What did you think about his tournament run?
Great tournament run. The majority of his matches went to the hill.
Yeah.
So to your point about him being just exhausted at the end of that, I can't imagine any other thing for him. He had to have been. There's only a handful of matches where he, either got 2-0'd or he did 2-0 somebody. So he's coming off of that first loss that went to the hill. So we've all been there before. What's running through your mind? I could have had it if I would have just changed this or that, but you got to get rid of that and, kind of push yourself through the losers bracket. And he's doing that in dramatic fashion for the majority of his matches. I mean, if I'm him, I'm a much better player. If I'm him, I'm ecstatic about that run, and he should be proud and hold his head high to get fourth place. It's incredible.
Yeah, his first match against Jason Rogers was definitely the longest of the first round, and then Josh also played in the U.S. Amateur qualifier over the weekend, lost in the finals to Jason Rogers. So the third time they have played in 2 weeks, because they played twice in our tournament, and then they play in the finals there. So they just have each other's number now, apparently. But that's an incredible top four right there. Just incredible top four. Fifth, sixth place is two guys that we have seen before. One guy that we see a lot on the pool series. Fifth, sixth was Renal Bott and Scott Roberts. Scott also loses first round and battles all the way back to finish fifth, sixth. And Renal, coming all the way from Charlotte, finally getting out up to Raleigh to play. I think he was excited to be there. He played really well, just kind of ran into two guys that play super strong. He definitely has nothing to be ashamed of for how he played over the weekend. But Pat, what do you think about Renal and Scott finishing fifth, sixth?
All-worth player in Charlotte. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Renal. I'm totally kidding. I want to see more of Scott Roberts play. I think we were both playing like back-to-back in that first round, maybe even second round. So I couldn't really get an eye on him. I need to see more of him before I can really say if I do like his game or not. Honestly, just haven't seen enough. But for Ronaldo, I mean, if you're Renal, Brandon, I think you might have said this some shows ago, some months ago. He's going to have to get out of Charlotte if he really wants to test his mettle, right? Was that Justin that said that? Yeah, he needs to get out of Charlotte and really test his mettle against some of these better players around. Because me and Justin were talking about it. I think that Raleigh might have the best players in the state. I think the best players in the state of North Carolina, they mostly reside in the Raleigh area.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Well, if you just look,
at our
tournament. Just look at our tournament here. Out of the top 8, 4 of them live in Raleigh. So 4 of the top 8 live in Raleigh, and then if you go down a little bit further, I would say one. I mean, yeah, you have 7 or 8 guys that finish in the top half of the tournament live in Raleigh. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think their competition is super strong, and yeah, you got to get out because Renal loses to Josh Padron, who's as we said, a 6.66. Probably would be the absolute best player around that ranking around here. Like nobody's gonna beat him. I think if Josh played in Charlotte, he would probably be a 700 Fargo, honestly.
Right. Right. I think we did a Moscone Cup style Charlotte versus Raleigh. Charlotte's getting smacked.
Crushed.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
probably.
you know what I'm saying? So,
oh gosh,
but
I'm sorry. Doesn't Josh Roberts technically qualify for Raleigh?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But I say all that to say that it's exciting to me that Renal goes to Raleigh and he breaks into the money. I think it would have been a huge disappointment if he's 9 through 12 and doesn't crack the top 8. But the fact that he cracked the top 8 and he's 5th, 6th, I think that speaks volumes for him, and that's very exciting.
Agreed, 100%. It would have been a letdown if he did not cash. He didn't get to play Eddie Little because I feel like they play every tournament. They did get to play again, and Renal just for some reason has his number. But Brandon, what do you think about fifth, 6th being Renal Bott and Scott Roberts?
I mean, that's the type of tournament. If it was in Charlotte, that could be the finals. But because of the strength of this field, seeing them in 5th, 6th, a little surprised about Renal. Every time I see Renal in a tourney, I automatically assume top 4. Now, getting 5th, 6th in this field is still a great, great field, great tourney. His match with Guama was my absolute favorite of the day, just because of the competitive nature of it. But no, after playing both of these guys firsthand and seeing how strong they can play, nothing really surprises me. Scott had to battle back just like Josh did in this tournament. So, I know Scott had struggled a few times in our tourneys. So it was good to see him make a big time run in this field and get to where he got. Renal, I'm just used to it.
What's Pat got to say?
He's burning over there.
Yeah.
I'm on fire. Brandon, you just brought up a question. What's more impressive for this field? To go undefeated and win, or if you were to lose that first match and then have to battle to the loser side and win?
And
what's more impressive?
To battle through the loser side? Oh, always a battle through the loser side and win. Well, number one, you're going to play more matches. And number two, depending on the style of tournament, the loser's bracket can be just as brutal as the winner's bracket. I mean, which is kind of how this tournament was. I mean, got some names that finished higher than the certain names because of all these killers who had to get matched up early in the losers bracket.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I mean that's definitely to lose your first one and run all the way and win. To me, is way more impressive.
I mean, just you're asking that question. I mean, I'm most, I think the best player was Guama. I think if you ask me who played the best, I would say Mr. Sanchez. But if you ask me who I'm most impressed with for this whole tournament, it would be Joshua Padron.
Mm-hmm.
He finished 4th place after losing first round. He's pretty much got to play perfect after that. And he had some tough matches. I mean, there's matches that he played, on the loser side that I'm not sure he's, supposed to win, or, maybe he could lose. I mean, Nathan Worley, not a bad player, like that, maybe things happen and he could have beat Josh. He played Yoa, goes to the 3rd set. I mean, that's not bad. James Blackburn. I mean, that's James Blackburn and Josh Padron. James has a higher Fargo. Then Josh beats Jason Rogers, beats Renal. That's the most impressive tournament, I feel like. I don't think Josh played the best. I don't think I'm going to say he's the best player in the tournament, but who impressed me the most this tournament, definitely Josh Padron. running through, finishing fourth after losing first round, especially the first round and the way he lost being so long and losing Hill. But yeah, so we're through the fifth, sixth players, a lot of good players. Seventh, eighth, two also really good players, two guys that are also above a 650 Fargo. Eddie Little, Jason Rogers finishing seventh, eighth. Eddie's just always in the money in the pool series. I'm really trying to remember. It's probably been 8 events now, I think, outside of the 30th anniversary, I think, where Eddie did not cash. And Jason Rogers coming through and cashing was awesome. I hadn't seen Jason in a very long time. I know what he's capable of, so I really wasn't that surprised. But since I hadn't seen him in a while, I really wasn't sure what to expect. But definitely looks like he's still playing well. Pat, we'll start with you this time. Pat, what do you think? Eddie Little, Jason Rogers, seventh, eighth. Give us your thoughts.
Jason Rogers, need to see more of him like Scott Roberts for me, for sure.
He never even played on the stream either.
There you go, Jason. We got to fix that next time. But the matches that he played beats Joshua Padron on the hill, beats Roberto on the hill, loses Jorge, comes back, he beats Jacob. Jacob is no slouch, even though Spargo's 573. He is still very much so tough. Beats him on the hill and then loses to Josh on the hill as well. So he's battling all day, man. He's fighting for the 7th, 8th position, so he's got to be proud of that. And then Eddie, the legend, Eddie, the money. Little, all right. If this guy's not getting into the money, I can't say it was a good tournament. Okay, I can't say that I had a good time unless I see that name sitting in at least 8th place. Okay, congratulations to you, Eddie. Sorry, I couldn't be the one to eliminate you again this time. We got to do the rubber match.
I think that's the last time. I think that's the last tournament he did not make the money.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Eddie Little beats Scott Robert on the hill, beats Nathan Worley on the hill, loses to Ronaldo on the hill, beats Reyes Gomez. I think that might be the most impressive thing on his resume for that tournament. The fact that he 2-0'd Reyes Gomez. He might have been in his high gear at that point. I don't know. I don't know what table they might have been playing on. But then ultimately loses to Scott Robert.
They played on the table where you played Josh.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So they were over there on the side. Nice. But, I mean, both of these guys take most of their matches being on the hill, so they're just fighting, scratching, making sure that they crack into that money. They got to be proud of that, especially with this tough field, man. They were I mean, if you're also looking at Josh as well, they were the 2 lowest Fargos in the money, so they probably ended up right where they were supposed to be. Maybe even a surprise that they get into the money with this field after we talk about some of the surprises that didn't make it. But if I'm Eddie Little and Jason Rogers, I'm happy about my spot.
I'll throw in these two things. Jason said he loves the format and he'll come back and play again, which is awesome. And Eddie beating Reyes Gomez, I feel like Eddie's supposed to win that. Maybe not 2-0, but I definitely would pick Eddie to win that match every single time. Brandon, what do you think about those two gentlemen?
I don't know Jason Rogers, but then I'm gonna look him up and see if there's anything on YouTube to watch him. I mean, he's obviously a good player.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, to come in and get 7th, 8th in this tournament, never played in one of these events, especially with these people.
Mm-hmm.
So I look forward to seeing you play, Jason, and congrats on a good tourney. Eddie Little. I'm running out of things to say about Eddie.
Yeah.
He's in every single episode. And I love that. Couldn't be happened to a better guy. I love that he's gaming. I could imagine his high gear. Pat and I obviously think Reyes Gomez is a little better than you do, so I actually think that's a good win for Eddie.
I think
especially after Reyes Gomez defeated Josh Roberts, and wasn't there another big name he beat?
Reyes Gomez.
Yeah, he beat Josh, and then he beat another really strong player.
No, I don't.
I thought. Okay, either way, I mean,
No, I mean every other match he won.
Not as strong as Josh Roberts or anything like that.
He's supposed to win every other match that he played.
Yeah.
So either way,
he lost to BJ.
So for Eddie to come through and and win and to get 7th, 8th and win that match, that's strong.
Well, let me clarify though. I do think it is a good win. I'm just saying I think Eddie is favored to win that match.
Right.
But it's definitely a good win though, for sure.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our cash players, man. What a top 8. What a fantastic top 8. Guama Sanchez, BJ Ussery, Corey Sykes, Joshua Padron, Ronald Bott and Scott Roberts, Eddie Little and Jason Rogers. Congratulations, guys. Hopefully Guama enjoyed our trophy because it was a very nice looking trophy. I kind of wanted to keep it myself but he got to walk away with it. Let's go ahead and mention there was a lot of players outside the money that we could probably talk about. We could probably honestly talk about almost everybody in this tournament and give a reason why we think they should have been in there. But I'm going to mention 3, and then if y'all disagree with those 3, okay. If you have somebody else to add, go ahead. But the 3 people that I thought would cash coming into the day that did not cash, that deserved to be talked about. One guy finished 13th. That's Josh Roberts. Josh the Beast Roberts.
I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, the highest Fargo player of the tournament. Definitely, I felt like should have cashed. This is a tougher field for him, a tougher race for him, probably than he's used to. But, hey, somehow he didn't cash. He had a tough, super tough bracket, though. 9th place finisher, Reyes Gomez. I think he's probably supposed to cash in this tournament. Again, I think he's on paper maybe one of the top 8 players in this tournament. And then another 9th place finisher, James Blackburn, a guy I hadn't seen in a while, but I know has potential to be top 8 in this tournament. I've seen him do some amazing things. At one point, I think maybe he was sponsored by, Q-Tech or one of those, he was sponsored by one of the Q makers at one point. Sorry, James, for not remembering. But, yeah, those 3 guys. Any other tournament that we have, I think those 3 guys are easily in the top 8. This time they just didn't quite make it. A couple of them had super tough draws. Really, all 3 of them had super tough draws. Who didn't have a super tough draw in this tournament? But Pat, let's cut it to you. Do you agree with those 3? Do you have somebody else that maybe needs a shout out? Pat, what do you think?
3 checks. Check, check, check.
I like it. Yeah, there's really not much else to say about those 3. Brandon, what do you think, man? Anybody that we haven't mentioned that needs to be talked about?
Not really. I mean, you pretty much nailed those. I mean, that's the exact 3 I would have said, pretty much in order.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you there's other players out there that are worth a mention that we didn't because we have to keep it to 3. But no, absolutely.
I will say we did have 2 ladies this time. First time in a while that we had 2 ladies. Julia Bright and Pamela
Awesome.
Perry. Sadly, they both went 2 and out, but it's good that we have some women. It's good that there's women players that play up there for sure. Hopefully they play again. But let's move on to our next segment here of the pool series reports, the TPS reports, where we talk about how we did in the tournament. I did not play. Brandon, you were not there. I didn't miss a ball either. So first of all, we both did excellent. Good job. But Pat
outside
did get
the money though.
Yeah, way outside the money. Pat did get to play and
He says it all.
Finished 25th. First round, lost 2-1 to Jake Cox.
Okay.
I don't really know anything about Jake. Didn't really get to see him play. Super nice guy doing that. First time I ever met him. Definitely was eager to play. But yeah, he beats Pat 2-1. Was Jake's only win of the tournament. And then Pat had the unfortunate series of events happen where he had to play Josh Roberts second round and loses 2-0.
I guess of the night.
Yeah, I mean it went pretty quick, I feel like. But let's go with
13 minutes.
Is that really what it was?
No, it felt like it.
It was pretty quick though. I'm not gonna lie. It was when you came back over, I did not think it was over. I'll tell you that right now. I was like, there's no way that match is over. Like, I don't know what Pat's doing walking over. Yeah, 21 minutes. Yeah. Wow.
There was even a guy who was just there to watch. He came over and said, "Hey man, did you play that other guy, Josh?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Is it over?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Did you win?" I said, "No, I did not win, sir." He said, "Oh, okay." And he just walked off. I was like, "Hey man, this guy."
So I guess let's
all 3 strikes because
yeah.
he's out.
I mean, Brandon, do you got anything to say about Pat's tournament?
Yes, one thing. When you play a guy like Josh Roberts, just embrace it, just enjoy it, just watch, learn something. If you get a chance to get up there and shoot, just forget you're playing them because that's the only way to play them. But that had to have been cool for you to see somebody who, honestly, I mean, I know his tournament result was pretty poor considering his skill set, but you're talking about the type of guy who can truly beat anybody in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many of those, and he's one of them. So, I mean, that's all I have to say. But I just hope you enjoyed your experience.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, I just want to ask Pat, what was it like? This was probably the best player you've ever played.
Oh.
So, I mean, did you have
second best?
So, Pat, did you have any expectations at all going into that match, or was it just, hey, I hope I can get a game?
Well, I just wanted to win a rack, which I did not do. I didn't get one rack against that guy. And it's one of those things. Brandon, you're exactly right. I went into that match knowing that I was commentating for the rest of the night. I was okay. I was stress free. It was whatever. For me, it was just that I wanted the front row seat to the best. What is he doing? How is he moving the cue ball around? What does his technique look like? Which is the craziest slip stroke I've ever seen in my life. The way that dude handles the cue is ridiculous to me. But watching him shoot made me go back and want to change some things in my game, as far as how I position myself, because I was really just studying him, and it was to the point that when I got up to go shoot, I wasn't. For me, I wasn't even playing in the tournament anymore. It's almost like I was at rack. I'm just kind of practicing because I really didn't care if I made or missed a ball, because at that point I just wanted to watch him shoot, which shouldn't be the attitude that you have going into a tournament. But if I'm being realistic, I knew what it was. So it was just a nice 23-minute study session, seeing what he does, how he gets out. And the thing that I took away the most from watching Josh Roberts play is, I would say, two things. Number one, you hear people like Jeremy Jones talk about finding your own style, right? There's no uniform, one single way that we're all supposed to hold the cue and strike the cue ball. And there's fundamentals, right? There's some fundamental things about the game, but do what works for you. That guy does what works for him with his stroke, the distance between his chin and the cue, the way he follows through, everything. That's number one. And then number two, the speed, the cue ball control that dude has. It's like he has it. It's like he's doing it with his mind. He's telepathic, and he just got the cue ball on the string. Every time you think he's hitting it really hard and he's blasting it, the cue ball just loftily, softly rolls around and gets right to the perfect position. It was like a conductor at a symphony. 23 minutes later, now I'm getting pissed off. I don't want to play him again just so I can lose and watch him play. But it was a great experience.
I love watching. I love how he moves the cue ball. Yeah, I love the patterns that he plays. And if it makes you feel any better, he wants to beat me in a tournament 11-1. So there's that. It was also on a bar table. It was winter break though. It was winter break. So I literally sat there.
Goose is cooked.
Yeah, I literally sat there for probably 20 minutes where I got to shoot. I do want to ask though, since I don't really know him too well, how did Jake Cox play? And I will say this: if you had beaten Jake, your tournament would not have been much better because then you would have played Guama. And then if you lost to Guama, you would have played Jacob Blake. So I don't think there was a good outcome.
And Guama better count his lucky stars that I lost against Jake.
Boy.
All right.
Yeah. But no, how did Jake play? How did your match go against Jake? Because I mean, it went to the third set, I do believe. So I mean, how did he play? Did you have a chance? Like, what happened in that one?
I had it. I had a chance. I was definitely not playing my best, and he for sure was not playing his best. It went to the hill because he was making more mistakes than anything, and I was just able to capitalize at the right time. Missing a couple of 9-balls. You know what I mean? It just kind of landed up there in the pocket. So it's not like I fought him tooth and nail to get there. I honestly might have had like one really good set, but he kept me in it. He kept me in it. If he's in his high gear, he probably would have beat me 2-0 easily. Easily. Yeah. He's a good shot.
Yeah, I've gotten word that he does play pretty well. Is what I've heard since the tournament. So yeah, definitely just a bad tournament for you, man. I mean, you didn't really have much of a chance. That's one of those ones where you just kind of go, okay, well, whatever. It was fun. Then you just look forward to the next one. I mean, that's all you can do. But
it's tournament life.
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with it. But let's move on and talk about some of these stream matches because we had 12 awesome stream matches. I'm going to say awesome because I feel like every one of these matches was fantastic. I'm not sure if there was a bad match on the stream. I don't think there was a popcorn match where you get up to go get some popcorn. There was no, women's wrestling match in this tournament. There was just all straight up, banger after banger after banger. And it started in the first round. And there's a little story I want to say before this first round. So, we're doing the bracket. We're making the bracket. And, on Digital Pool, you just hit the button, says create bracket. And, Corey Sykes is there with me. And he's like, man, it's going to be hilarious if it's like BJ and Josh first round or, something like that. And we hit the button. And sure enough, it's Guama and Josh Roberts first round. So, yeah, I feel like we kind of, manifested it almost. But, yeah, first round, right off the bat, we get Guama and Josh Roberts. A 3-set, I'm going to say thriller because I was totally into this match. This was an awesome match. I feel like Guama wins 2-1. The matches go 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, which I believe is the first time we've ever seen that on the pool series stream. So, wow. But it was the way it happened. I don't think either player really made a mistake. I think it was just a draw break, or, maybe didn't have a shot after the break and the other guy would just take advantage and break and run. This was the only match on the stream throughout the whole day where I feel like it was an A+ playing from both players. I think every other match, nobody played their best, really. I think in this match, both players possibly played their best. And we'll just go with Pat and see what his thoughts are on the first round matchup of Guama and Josh Roberts.
Seen better. I'm just kidding. No, not at all.
Seen better.
No. Justin, you hit the nail on the head. It was like at one point they were just trading break and runs,
Yeah.
And I actually think Guama, not only in this match, but in the entire tournament, I think he had the best break. I think he figured out the break very early, very quickly, and he stuck with it, and it was working for him throughout the entire tournament, which attributed to his success on the day. But for me, that match is probably the second best match of the day. The very first one that we opened up with, and you couldn't open up with a better match, especially with the way. Because it's one thing where you get both those guys, and then one of them just kind of runs all the way through. Maybe a fluke 2-0 because the other guy's kind of warming up, or there's some crazy rolls that happen like that. But like you said, I mean, they were both playing top gear, high gear. Maybe Guama made one less mistake, than Josh Roberts did, one or two. But A+ all around, man.
Yeah, that was definitely a great match to start with. Brandon, you were watching. What did you think about those two?
I thought they were playing the ghost.
Yeah.
All right. So, because I was at my office watching on the phone, Josh Roberts breaks dry, didn't shoot again.
Yeah, for 2 racks.
Until he broke dry again and Guama ran out. I'm like, it was so entertaining to the point where it was almost a little bit boring. I'm like, because you knew once they saw out, and then the very next set, it flipped the script right around. I didn't catch the whole second set. I saw Josh go up 1-0, and then I came back after dealing with a customer with it being 2-0 Guama in the third. I'm like, I looked at the score and said, "You've got to be kidding me!" So I went back and rewatched it. Like, I mean, that's like a 985, like I guess a 990.
Exactly.
And, I mean, that was the nuttiest thing I've ever seen.
It showed us what pool can be.
Oh, yeah.
When it's two Goliaths playing
Two studs
to the best of their ability. Then we move on to the second round, where I think, we had two pretty good matches. We had Corey Sykes winning 2-0 against Tim Spees. First time seeing Tim, super nice guy. Is actually going to come back and play in one of our upcoming tournaments. But we got to see Corey play on the stream. That was a super fun match. I think Tim kind of made a couple mistakes. And then the other second round matchup was BJ Ussery beating Reyes Gomez 2-0. Another banger already in the second round, which is crazy. BJ definitely was that. I think at that point, that was probably the best I saw BJ play all day, was probably that match right there. And maybe it's just because, maybe he really wanted to beat Reyes Gomez. I don't know, but definitely BJ played his best in that match. So Brandon, what do you think? Did you get to see either one of those matches?
Yeah. I watched. Tim Spees is actually a pretty solid player.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He definitely outmanned by Corey.
Yeah.
Corey's a stud. But he did make some mistakes, but you can tell he's playing the game with his whole heart. And hopefully he learned something by watching Corey, because Corey is one of the best ones in the whole state to do it.
I think Tim was telling me it was like the first bigger tournament that he's played in, and he normally plays on bar boxes also.
Yeah, not a bad game though. He's got a good game. And then BJ absolutely. I think BJ actually wanted to win that match more than the others. I don't know why. I saw that U.S. Open World 9-ball look in his eyes.
Yeah,
like he wanted that match and he got it.
Yeah, he started off good there. Pat, you were, I think at this point, probably maybe commentating maybe for both these matches, but what did you think? No, not yet. You weren't commentating yet? Okay.
We're getting some lessons about both those guys I've played.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen them. Still got kids, so haven't gone back to see the live stream yet.
Understandable. We'll move on to the third round. And third round, we also had two matches. We had Guama beat Justin Ward 2-0. Sadly, that match went pretty quick. That was only like a 30-minute match. Guama is just rolling at this point. It's like, okay, this dude's going to be in the finals. Let's just go ahead and just, skip to him. Like, he's going to be in the final. It was like watching UConn win the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. You're just like, okay, like, just go ahead and put them in the final four. Let's get this over with. And then you had what could have been the most entertaining match of the day. BJ Usry beating James Blackburn 2-1. I actually thought for a moment James was going to be able to pull off the upset. I was like, I think James is going to be able to pull this off. Sadly, he came up a little short, but BJ played phenomenal again in this match, especially towards the end, I feel like. But Pat, at this point, I know you were sitting there watching, I feel like, or commentating, I should say. But what do you think about these two matches?
Great matches. Focusing specifically on BJ versus James Blackburn. Obviously, my horse in the race right there. So it pained me to watch him get go down 2-1. But
now,
I mean, if you're gonna lose to anybody,
do you regret me telling you though that James is worth bidding $40 on?
no, that was bro. I wish I would have kept my 20. I wish I wouldn't have bet on myself. Just so I would have had another 20 just in case somebody tried to take James Blackburn away from me, dude. He was worth every penny. I would do it again. He's a great player.
Absolutely. Super nice guy too. I went to a tournament with him one time in Virginia, and sadly we had to play each other at one point. I think maybe we were already in the money though, but yeah, James is a great guy. Brandon, what do you think about the third round matchups?
I think BJ came out a little bit flat, and he almost paid for it majorly.
Yeah,
because he was giving James a lot of opportunities, and that's why I ended up going to a third set. But in that second and third set, he really came alive and brought his game. So, James is a great player. I haven't seen him in a long time. I don't even know how much he plays. Definitely not around the Charlotte area much anymore.
Yeah.
But no, James is a warrior.
Absolutely,
going against BJ, you pretty much have to play perfect pool.
Oh, absolutely.
And get the rolls. That has a lot to do with it too. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, James is not a bad player though. He does have a 684 Fargo. Out there. Next up, we did have a loser side matchup on the stream. Jacob Blake winning 2-0 against Diego Guerrero. I didn't really know what to expect. Diego was another guy I just met. I talked to him on Facebook a couple of times, but I just met him. Obviously, I know what Jacob Blake's capable of. Diego did win a couple of big matches before he played Jacob, beat like Javier Oliu, beat Barry Perry. So I was like, okay, maybe this Diego guy can play, but it looked like he just made a couple of mistakes against Jacob. And, Jacob's a fighter. He's not going to quit. He finishes one out of the money again for like maybe the 7th time in a row in our tournaments, I feel like. But Jacob winning 2-0 against Diego. Pretty good match. Somehow this might actually be the weakest match on the stream table throughout the whole day. But Brandon, did you watch this match?
I watched the first set and a half, and had to go back to work. I was wondering if Jacob actually sent, Diego a card for those first 2 and 3 gifts that he received in the match. But Jacob, you did what you were supposed to do when you were supposed to do it. So I'm not going to take that away from you. But I think Diego probably outshot him.
Yeah.
As a whole. But I guess he just got nervous and got the yips and ended up giving Jacobs 8s and 9s. Like, you can't do that in these tournaments. You're going to lose. You're going to get out quick.
Yeah.
So I mean, with all that being said, like, it's not a mystery why the players that run out and finish games are the ones that are at the end. So
agreed. Pat, what do you think about that match?
Not Justin, you're exactly right. Jacob is going to make 2 balls. You know what I mean? If you leave him 2 balls left on the table, 3 balls left, he's going to make these and be out, go up. I honestly think if you're just looking at it from a Fargo perspective, this might be the upset of the tournament. I don't know Diego. Never really seen him play. He's one of those ones that they're throwing there with like Scott Roberts and whatnot. But like you said, Brandon or Justin, I know a little bit more about what Jake is capable of and how well he can shoot, despite his Fargo. When he's in his high gear. But yeah, he's definitely one of those players. Forget Fargos. You're not leaving that man 3 balls on the table and thinking that he's not about to get out or play a great defense or just not even do that. Shoot the right shot. So no, man, hats off to Jake. Hats off to Jake for coming up, by the way, dude. Coming all the way up from Charlotte, playing in this match, man. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you again.
Even he shared the Airbnb with us the first night, me and Rico and him. I will say Diego, though, the round before beats Javier. I don't know if it was Hill third set or not. But Diego 3,000 for the win and plays one of the best safeties I saw of the whole tournament. Because they
Wow.
called me over to check the hit just in case Javier was lucky enough to hit it. But he, even when I walked over there, I was like, I don't even think that there's a chance to get close on this ball. It was that good of a safety. So shout out to Diego for that. Actually, I wish we would have had that on stream. But
He's got a good game.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I hope he plays again. He's a super nice kid. Like I said, I've talked to him on Facebook a couple of times. Next up, we get to now what I'm considering the hot part of the match here. We get to the Final Four winners side. Two gigantic matchups here. This is what we expect a Final Four winners side to look like every time, or at least we wish that it would look like this. BJ Usry beating Corey Sykes 2-0. I feel like Corey at this point just was kind of hitting the wall a little bit. I feel like, you could kind of see him dropping off a little bit. And then Guama beating Ronaldo 2-1. There was a moment where I thought maybe Ronaldo might win, but man, you could tell there's a big difference, really, honestly, between Guama and Ronaldo. And I think it comes down to the fact that Gregorio does this for a living and Ronaldo works, 40 plus hours a week. And that's really, I feel like, just what separates those two guys is Guama has that extra whatever that Ronaldo doesn't have. And really, it's that extra whatever that a lot of pool players don't have. But two awesome matchups, I feel like. Neither one of these matchups were ones that you wanted to miss. And Pat, you were front row for both of them. I know you were excited to be calling these matchups. So give us your thoughts, man.
This is Final Four. Great matches. I think you hit the nail on the head with Corey. Corey was hitting the wall. He had such an emotional journey to get to this spot. Running out of gas for sure. You can see it.
Yeah.
Misses. There was a little bit more body language when he missed or had a bad shot or a bad roll, whatever it might have been. And then I don't think I ever thought Ronaldo was going to beat Guama. Even when it did go to the third set, it was just nothing the entire tournament pointed to Guama losing. Even when he was going back and forth for the very first match against him and Josh Roberts, nothing pointed to Guama losing to anybody this entire tournament. It just didn't go there. Exciting for Ronaldo to do it, right? To take him to the hill and put yourself in a position to win and give yourself a chance. But I think that match, I honestly expected that to go 2-0.
Yeah, I did too.
Against him and Ronaldo. So the fact that it went to the hill, I think that's a testament to how well Ronaldo can play, when he's in his high gear. But super excited. This is, and they only get better. This is what a Final Four winner side is supposed to be.
Yeah, Ronaldo has to find to play at that level the whole time that he did in the middle of that match. He needs to figure out how to play at that level all day, every day. Brandon, I'm sure you rewatch these matches at some point.
Oh, the Ronaldo, and I've already said this earlier, Ronaldo and Guama match was my favorite match to watch of the entire day, even more so than the finals, because of the competitive spirit that both of these two brought to this game, watching their tactful play, watching them play their two great safety players battling against each other, to me is almost as entertaining as runouts. Seeing who's gonna nip and tuck the best, and just watching. And I'm not as sold as y'all. I thought Ronaldo had a prayer until 2-1 third set, and Guama breaks the 9 dead in the pocket.
Yeah,
that's like okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, even if the guy tried to make a mistake here, he probably wouldn't, and he didn't. He walked right out. But that was, to me, one of the more entertaining matches of the entire day. The BJ and Corey match was good. I agree with both of what you said about that proverbial wall. The best players do hit that from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're watching your opponent not miss either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that can happen. So, 2 great matches.
Absolutely, 2 great matches. Now we move on to the 5th, 6th place match. We get to see Ronaldo play again. Josh Perjon beats Ronaldo 2-1, and I guess you could say maybe this match had like a little controversy. Maybe, I don't know what you would want to call it, but definitely had a shot that you can go back to on our YouTube page and rewatch. A shot where they kind of had a little disagreement on a foul or a bad hit or a good hit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good match though. Outside, it was definitely a good match, a very exciting match. 2 guys that I think are very evenly evenly matched up. I think this is a pretty even matchup. You look at their Fargos, it's way different. But as I say, I think if Josh played down here, he'd be a 700 Fargo. I think if Ronald played up there, he'd probably be about a 660, 670 Fargo. So I think these two guys are pretty even, and they played pretty even in this match, I feel like. So, Brandon, what do you think about this match, man?
I think this match had it all. And as far as the controversy, I'm going to kill that whole thing with one reminder that I said it on the chat. No matter what anybody thinks, Renault had ball in hand 2 shots later and couldn't finish the job. So as far as that part goes, I do think
we also tell everybody at the beginning, hey, if you need a hit watched, ask the referee.
100. You know what? That's actually the best point. You got to call the ref over if you're not sure.
Well, that was the deciding factor on if it was ball in hand or not. Was
That's the way it should have been.
Hey, nobody asked the referee to come over here, so it goes to the shooter, whatever he thinks. Josh said no foul, so yeah.
Josh is the kind of guy. If it was a foul, he would have said it was a foul. I don't think he would have. I don't think he lost in that situation.
I don't think either one of those guys lied in that situation. I think they both believe what they believe. Yeah. I think it's one of those things. Yeah,
So I mean, it's all from the angle where you watch it too. I mean, it can look one way and be the other. I mean, it really can. But either way, I do think that did deflate Renault a little bit, though.
Des Bryant did not catch that ball. Or I thought we were still talking controversy calls. Sorry.
I think that's crap. Des Bryant did catch that ball, and I'm not
did not catch that ball.
So did Jericho Cotry. Anywho, but Josh stayed tough through that whole thing because they both were a little bit rattled. You can tell they were both frustrated with it. But, you know, that final game was very entertaining because Josh had to hit 2 or 3 really, really hard shots to win that match. And you got to give him credit for bearing down and staying focused. He hit some missiles.
He made, I think, was it the 8 ball or the 7 ball? The last track was possibly the best shot of the whole tournament.
I'm sure if there's a highlight or when there's a highlight reel, that one's going to be really high up there.
I didn't think there was any way he could get shape going the way that he went, and he got perfect shape. I mean, I'm talking that ball is the best hit ball I saw all day.
He sized it up. He got down, and when he's in his pre-stroke, he never, not one time, didn't think he was going to make that shot, and he drilled it.
Yeah.
Like it was ball in hand. So to you, Josh, that's great shooting, great win.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pat, what do you think, man? Give us your thoughts on that match.
I feel like Brandon said it all. You could argue that this might have been the match of the tournament, you know, with as close as it was. I will say, Justin, I don't think if Ronaldo moves that he's 6'6" and 6'7". He still floats around 700.
I agree with you, Pat.
I think he's still 7s. He might not be 7. I digress. I digress. I will say too, I think you guys were right. That foul, because we stopped play for a solid 10 minutes just to check the replays, because we have the technology to do it, be able to kind of check the replays and really come to a decision. Ultimately, it really wouldn't matter what we said. It's just like you said, no referee watch it. It's going to go to the shooter. What did the shooter think it was? But, you know, they're asking for it. We can do it. Why not take a look at it? Josh was okay with taking a look at it as well, just to be sure. That tells me the kind of player that he is, kind of guy that he is.
And I was all for looking at it too, but there was it was not clear one way or the other. So then that's why I made the decision I made.
Right. I thought it was pretty clear, but to your point, other folks thought it was clear that it was the other way as well, right? So it is what it is. At that point, it goes back to what you said. With that being said, I think that you could also argue, had it been a little bit more clear towards Ronald's favor, maybe that's a tipping point that gives him more confidence going into finishing out the rest of the match, where he doesn't foul around on those 2 ball in hands. Maybe that deflates Josh Padron a little bit. So I wonder, I just kind of question how pivotal that moment really was. You know what I mean?
If you go back and watch it, if he gets ball in hand right there, the balls are spread perfect. So he probably gets out. Instead, he doesn't get ball in hand. He plays safe and then he gets ball in hand. But when he played safe, he kind of jumbled up the balls a little bit to where it was like, oh wow, now he's really got to work to get out from here, and he didn't. So if he gets ball in hand there, I really do feel like he gets out. So you can say it didn't. Brandon said it didn't really affect it because he gets ball in hand 2 shots later, but by then the balls are clumbered up. It's not the same run out. It's a totally different strategy at that point. So I think it actually did make a huge difference that he didn't get ball in hand.
Yeah, and they're so evenly matched as well. I mean, Fargo's aside, they're a lot closer than what the numbers are saying. I would love to see them match up again late in another tournament. So, Josh Patron, come on down to Charlotte sometime too, buddy.
Yes, agree. He does need to come on down, but yeah, that was
That
a
could
super.
be
Yeah,
that could be a Deadstroke media match.
yeah, that was a super. Yeah, that was a super fun match to watch. And yeah, like I said, if y'all want to see the shot that we're talking about, go look on the Pool Series YouTube page. You can see the little short video, the little reel with the shot, the questionable moment of the day that we've been talking about. But now we move on to the hot seat match between Guama and BJ. And I'll be honest with you, this match I had to go back and rewatch because I honestly did not remember much about this match because Guama beats him 2-0, and I just honestly was like, man, I don't even remember the hot seat match. So I went back and rewatched it, and yeah, Guama won 2-0. Pat, give us your thoughts on the hot seat match, man. What?
Number one match of the tournament.
You think this
Guama
match?
beating BJ. I think this match is.
Yeah.
I think this match is because it started the thought, what if he double dips BJ? What is that going to say about this guy? What is that going to say about BJ, the status in North Carolina? Who has the crown at this point? Because up until now, Guama to me is like the Loch Ness monster. Never seen him before. Heard all these great stories about it. Never seen his head poke out. Oh, but look, there he is. We got a little sighting here. And then to see him play up close and just watching how I can't even say that his game progressed. It feels like the way that he was shooting at 1 o'clock is the same way that he was shooting at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was the same strength.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about it in a lot of these pool series tournaments, how the best players, they build as the night goes on. He didn't build anything. He started high and he stayed there. You know what I mean?
A lot of that too I think was playing who he did in the first round. He had to start there.
That's a great point. That's a great point. You're playing a potential finalist, a potential trophy contender in that very first round. So you have that mentality. You're just smoking through the rest of this field. So to get to the hot seat match and for him to play like he did to 2-0 BJ, I don't care what BJ feel like he's playing at, the cues, all that. Don't matter. You 2-0 BJ, us for the hot seat match, match of the tournament for me. Match of the tournament. Played extremely well. I think it was a testament to what was to come, but I think it made the finals even more exciting because it was like, okay, you 2-0 him. Was that a fluke? And I think he proved that it wasn't, but we'll talk about that later.
Absolutely. Brandon, what did you think about the hot seat match?
After watching it, I had to change my thought process. I never thought I'd see the day where BJ Usry was in a 32-man pool series event and he wasn't the best player.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see that in a 32-man pool series.
Well,
but that's what happened.
What's crazy is really, honestly, I mean, I know he didn't finish up there, but you could put Josh Roberts in this conversation and say BJ might not have been the top 2 best player in the tournament. I mean, honestly.
I told you after that tournament started, or after he got knocked out, or I think the next day, that if you reran that field, I would still take Josh Roberts to get in the top 3.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would take him to finish.
No question.
If you had asked me what the finals of this tournament was going to be, I would have said Guama and Josh Roberts.
Yep.
Yeah. So that should tell you, and there's no knock on BJ at all because I do feel like BJ could easily be a top 10 player, 15 player, 20 player in the country. So yeah, that just tells you how strong those other 2 guys are. But yeah, that was a great hot seat match, really. So then we get the third place match between BJ and Corey Sykes, the rematch, as they had already played once before. And once again, BJ wins 2-0. And this time I feel like Corey just had nothing for him. I think at this point, Corey is like, you know what? Third is good. I can't fight anymore. And BJ at this point, I think, was like, you know what? I really want to get back to the finals and play Guama one more time. So I actually feel like this was actually kind of a fun match to watch, even though it was 2-0. Brandon, what, talk about it.
It was more of the same from the A side. Mm-hmm. It really was. I didn't see a lot of difference. except I think BJ finished this one a little quicker.
Yeah,
I think he was actually playing stronger. It's exactly what you just said. He wanted to match back up with Guama. Get there, not just win first, but beat Guama.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was not really shocked.
Actually, this match actually took longer than their previous.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Sure felt quick.
Yeah. Kind of wild.
But either way, BJ was being BJ. Running out when he needed to, getting the win, and I do think Josh hit that comfort factor where like I've accepted my fate.
Corey,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Corey. Accepted my fate.
Yeah.
So that's where we landed.
Yeah. Pat, talk a little bit about the third place match.
Just a great point, maybe hit a wall that was named BJ, as well as exhaustion, mentally, I think more than anything. He didn't look physically tired, but again, the route that he had to take to get to that point in the fashion that those matches went, it's exhausting on the brain. And so it just, like, the analogy that I use is like almost like a boxer, 10th round out of the 12, 11th round out of the 12, and you just kind of swing and hoping to knock this guy out when he's winning and he's scoring in the points. He's like, you got to knock him out if you want to win this match. And I think that's kind of where he was with things, And then maybe, Bragger's always like, third ain't so bad. Not that he would stop trying, but to your point, maybe a little bit more relaxed. And if he misses, like, all right, hey, it is what it is. I've had a good tournament. I would have to say that I'm sure he was still trying, but at that point, maybe the mind and the body just weren't lining up. And he wasn't shooting like he was earlier in the day. But how can you be mad at third, man?
Definitely can't be mad, and especially in a tournament like this, third place paid pretty well. Now we get to the finals. As always in the pool series, the finals is just one match. They do not have to be double dip, just one match, longer race. Races to 4 best 2 out of 3 sets. And, we talked about the first match of the day being Guama and Josh Roberts and what happens when both guys are on their A game and how awesome that was to watch. In the finals, Gregorio Sanchez beats BJ Usry 2 sets to 1. This time, neither player, I think, played their absolute best. Neither one of them had the break working perfect, I feel like, but they took their time to look at every ball. They made sure they took the right shot. They made sure they played the perfect safeties when needed. From a strategy standpoint, this is what you want to watch, especially being up close and personal like me and Pat. From a strategy standpoint, this match was so fun to watch between 2 superstars in the game of pool. I could rewatch this match 100 times. That's how much I love this match. And it's crazy because of the finals that we had in the tournament previous between Mike Davis and Clay Davis, I said could have been the best finals. I might want to put this one next to it and say this also could be the best finals because this was, like I said, this was just so much fun to watch. I've rewatched it a couple of times. Yeah, they both make a mistake or two here and there, but they both just took their time. They both made sure they were correct on every decision they made. And it was just an awesome match between 2 big superstars. Seeing Guama double dip BJ or to beat him twice in the same tournament is unbelievable. And I was glad it went in a third set because our finals always go third sets. Pat, you were there throughout the whole thing. Go ahead and give us Pat's thoughts on the finals.
Let's take Pat's thoughts. Guama beat BJ twice in the same night. That's number one. Okay. He beat him twice in the same night. Also, BJ hates when he perceives that someone is playing too slow. Okay.
Yeah.
This was the most careful that Guama played the entire tournament. His pacing when he started off playing Josh Roberts was the same pacing that he played all the way through. Even the first time in the hot seat match that he was playing against BJ, his pacing did not change. Okay. When he got to the finals, it was 2 extra looks. Third extra look at this shot just to make sure that the ball was going to go where it needed to be and that cue ball was going to end up where it was supposed to be, right? I felt like every shot was an exhale after he made it or played the right defense and got the right role. You know what I mean? There was just so much more pressure because of the championship being on the line. But to your point, the pacing slowed down tremendously. There's arguments for both. I think I said it in the moment. I don't know if maybe emotions got the best of me, but I'm going to have to go back and rewatch because I haven't watched anything. But this may have been the best championship that the pool series has had, even beating the Mike and Clay Davis barn burner gut-wrenching finals that happened last month. This might be number one.
Yeah, I think this could be number one. I mean, the added pressure too of both these guys being at the top of the sport and probably being the two best players in the state. Definitely two very well-known players throughout the whole country. They don't want to lose on stream in the finals to the other one. Like whether or not they like each other or don't like each other, I have no idea. They were both nice to each other, so I'm assuming they like each other. But you don't want to lose to another superstar in the finals.
Right.
That adds pressure so much. It's like Lakers Celtics in the finals. You don't want to lose that matchup. So, yeah, definitely was added pressure. Brandon, give us your thoughts, man.
This is like Tyson and Lennox Lewis. You have two super heavyweights going at it. One of them has to win and one of them has to lose. And today, or that day, I should say, Guama was Lennox Lewis. He scientifically put that all those racks together perfectly. Pat, you nailed exactly what you said, and I noticed that too. The whole pace of play went slowed way up in the finals. He was nowhere near as carefree, taking an extra minute. Um, I don't know if he was, and I know this is gamesmanship, and I don't have a problem with it because it's part of the pool. But there may have been a little shark move there on the way he was playing compared to earlier. But I don't hate him for it. But either which way, they both played a great match. And if BJ was affected, he didn't show it or act like it, at least not to where I noticed on camera.
When your opponent shows a big weakness, and there's zero bad things to say about BJ's game, but he has made it so well known that he hates slow play.
Yes.
That it's hard. It's hard if you're his opponent not to play slow.
Sure.
Because it's like, oh, I know this guy hates it. If you're able to play slow, you probably should do it against him just because.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's made it so well known. It's like, sometimes when you have a weakness, you probably shouldn't tell people. Like,
Exactly.
keep it in your mind. Like, don't tell people. I mean, yeah. But continue on, Brandon. I don't know if you have.
I mean, no, that's pretty much what it was. It was fun watching that chess match, and the better player that day got it.
Absolutely.
And that's it's the way it kind of felt like it should have ended up because Guama played the best pool the whole day out of all 32 players.
Yeah, he deserved the win.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, absolutely. So that concludes the Brass Tap tournament, the $1,000 added Brass Tap tournament. Our first visit to Raleigh. Super fun, super exciting. Thank you to Tammy and everybody up there that let us be there. Pat, what's your final thoughts on our Brass Tap tournament?
Great food, great staff. The berry sangria was phenomenal. I did not expect that. Thank you for the recommendation at the bar. Thank you to the players, man. The strongest and best field that we've had so far from the pool series. Please come to more events. We will be back at Brass Tap as well. Can't wait to come back. Cannot wait.
Yes, definitely cannot wait. Also, Brandon, what's your final thoughts? You weren't there, but you got to watch.
Final thoughts are: I am going to take some of my PTO time in 25. One will be at Brass Tap because I've got to go there.
Highly recommend.
And the other one will be the One Pocket.
Oh, nice.
I will be at those two events minimum. So I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait.
Yes, it was definitely a super fun tournament. Highly recommend anybody that's up there to go to Brass Tap, even if it's not for one of our tournaments. Just stop in and have fun. We got 2 tournaments coming up in October. October is going to be another fun month for the pool series. We got October 5th back at Smoke and Q for the first time in a while with points event number 8. It's going to be 10 ball. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then October 26th, we're making our first trip to Statesville, Fast Action Billiards. It'll be a 9-ball tournament. Definitely looking forward to that as they're a brand new place. They've been wanting us to come. I feel like everybody needs to check it out. Pat, what do you think about October? What do you guys say to the people about October?
I'll be in Jamaica by the time you guys see this video, and just know that I won't be at the Smoking Cube, but sign up anyway if it's not already full. Justin, is it full?
It's full, yes.
Sign up for October 26th at Fast Action Billiards. We will all be in the building. Can't wait for that one. Shout out to Clint Clark for hosting and letting us come up there to run a tournament. Super excited.
Clint and David Duel also. Yeah. David, yeah.
Shout out to Double D. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't wait. October's going to be a great month for some pool, baby.
Absolutely. Brandon, what do you think about October? What do you guys say to the people?
Looking forward to watching it. Looking forward to probably calling some matches over Smoking Q. And like we talked about before the show, Justin, one of my stores is in Cornelius, so maybe I can make it to Statesville for the
That'd be
later part
awesome.
of the night.
That would be
I want
super
to see
fun.
that one. That's gonna have some hitters in it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good players up in that area, so I'm excited for that. Yes, Pat's one of them for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun month. October's gonna be fun. September was fun. Brass Tap was fun. This episode of the TPS reports was fun. Y'all check out the pool series on Facebook. Check out the pool series on YouTube. Check out TPS reports on Spotify. Check it all out. Subscribe, follow, like, do it all. As always, Pat Dixon, thank you so much, buddy. We really appreciate you. Oh, I like it. That was kind of fancy. Brandon, thank you so much. Yes. And I'm Justin. We will check you later.